spans over 5, 6, 7, 8 years from one group to second and then go to that in USA or anywhere. So when a foundry becomes a global player and when the steel casting is passing through the bottom level, they face a very difficult situation. This is precisely what has happened to this foundry. When they completed the expansion, the recession has come. It seems perhaps the demand for their castings has now started picking up, so probably from loss-making unit, now they may convert back into a profitable unit. Very good foundry, technological superior, but then because of the long cycle of business growth and contraction, they are just now coming out of contraction possibly. This is an investment casting unit, INPCL, and this is producing mainly ferrous, maybe some non-ferrous. They also export good portion of their castings. Now I group 4 foundries together, which I should have grouped differently. KFIL, that is Kirloskar Ferrous Industries Limited, I should have taken out separately, but because of their market, I have grouped them together. Bhagwati Ferrocast Limited, Hinduja Foundries Limited, Kirloskar Ferrous Industries Limited, and Nelcast Limited. They produce grey and or ductile iron castings, mainly for tractors, automotive, and commercial vehicle industries. And one among them, Kirloskar Ferrous Industries Limited, they also produce foundry grade pig iron. Now the business of Kirloskar Ferrous Industries Limited is very nicely built up. Basically they produce foundry grade pig iron. We purchase their pig iron. But part of that molten pig iron, when you purchase that pig iron, you purchase solidified. Fortunately, they have molten pig iron readily available with them. So they transfer part of that to their foundry in molten condition, so they don't have to spend on melting. But in the process, a lot of holding losses do take place. Only thing, the solidification, this heat for melting, that latent heat is being saved. And then they take that metal in the holding furnace, treat it, adjust the composition, adjust the metallurgy and all other quality, and then they use for producing casting. So about 40% of their products goes out in the form of castings, and about 60% of that product as on today is coming to us as a user of Kirloskar Ferrous good quality pig iron. And we must congratulate and we should be proud of this foundry, because in India this was the first foundry which started this experimentation 10 or 15 years back. And there is something very good about it. And just in this, now Hinduja Foundry is one of the best foundries just about 25 years back. Perhaps the first automotive foundry in India jobbing. Not even jobbing, because it was connected with Ashok Leyland from the day one perhaps, right? But that foundry, and today its entire shape is entirely different financially. It is continuously for last 4 or 5 years going loss after loss after loss. This is important for us to understand what caused the excellent foundry to come to this position, and if we can evaluate it, we can prevent our foundries from going on that route. So that is one lesson, and that their balance sheets will help us to know this. Nelcast is doing very nice. It's a very large size foundry in terms of capacity. BSL is known for the quality of their ductile iron castings. I'm sorry, I made a wrong mistake. This is not BSL, it should have been BAL, Bhagwati Autocast Limited. This is my error. They have two companies. Bhagwati Ferrocast Limited is a private limited company, and what I meant was BAL. Here is my error, it is not BSL. So Bhagwati Autocast is doing very fine, but it is maybe up to 1000 ton per month as on today, and Nelcast in the similar field, mainly on grey iron, is going almost 2 or 3 times the production of their company. this BSL is my error, kindly correct it to Bhagwati Autocast Limited, that is a listed company. Now observations on their share price movements. Here I told about each one of their foundries. Now the brief information about how their share price movements are there. Observation number 1. Both AIA Engineering and Welka Steels are highly profitable. AIA Engineering is rapidly expanding their production capacities. They are still expanding. Continuous process of putting up plants at different places, and they are in the expansion phase. Their shares are traded at very high multiplier to that face value, from 50 times to 500 times. 50 times was about 2 years back. Today it is 500 times. Within 2 years the valuation has changed. Welcast Limited is around 50 times today, and Welcast Limited is now owned, that means it is a subsidiary of AIA Engineering. They are a group company. Observation number 2. Both Electrosteel Castings and Srikalahasti Pipes. Here also, Srikalahasti Pipes is an associate company of Electrosteel Castings. When the earlier company was going in trouble about 10 years back or 8 years back, the Electrosteel Castings has purchased that company, taken over, and thereafter they have converted that into ductile iron foundry, and with ductile iron pipes things have simply gone in excellent way. They are producing ductile iron pipes. Their stocks are also priced about 20 to 30 times their face value, even in the difficult period of Electrosteel Castings. Observation number 3. Steel casting, I already explained during that time also. Here, because of the cyclic business, steel casting was facing a lot of problems. Even then, their share price is about 8 to 10 times the face value. Now they are slowly entering the growth phase again. The investment casting unit IPCL is also priced about 8 to 12 times its face value. Their focus is now increasing on high value added. For last 1.5 years, when they faced problem, when recession came in, they now changed over to high value added niche products, which some of our foundries also will need to do. Whenever you face a problem and there is little market, go to value addition, which they have successfully done, and they are in the process of doing it. Kirloskar Ferrous, the company producing automotive castings as well as foundry grade pig iron, is priced about 10 to 12 times their face value, and perhaps they have already entered, and as Mr. Vinod Kapoor told just now, among so many foundries which are losing a lot of money, this is one foundry which even today is highly profitable. The rest 3 foundries, Bhagwati Autocast Limited, Hinduja and Nelcast, they supply casting to automotive. Their share prices trade at about 3, as low as 3 in case of Hinduja, because which is under huge loss. But because the intrinsic value of their total land, building, etc. is so high that even if it goes in liquidation, which it should never go because it is owned by Ashok Leyland, is even then it is 3 times the face value of the share, up to 20 times that face value in case of Nelcast, and about 6 to 7 times in case of Bhagwati Autocast Limited. Concluding remarks. Creative Foundryman can review from time to time annual financial performance results of these and other listed foundries. Why I say listed? Because the data is available. Unlisted foundries, data is not available in public domain. Gradually learn salient key performance parameters which make stocks of some foundries more attractive to investors. And these 2 key performance parameters, just in 2 slides, I'll show it to you. In the previous issue of Foundry magazine, we had published financial annual results of all these 10 foundries. On one page, 5 foundries here. On the next page, another foundry. Here is the sales, income, then expenditure. One important thing let us see is how is their power and fuel charges. That is the area where if you see power and fuel charges with respect to their total sale, maybe there is a different story for different foundries. Now KFIL perhaps we may not compare because they are producing pig iron as well as the castings. So how to bifurcate? Only the inner circle of that foundry can do. So their annual report may not be able to help us realize that. Same thing with electrosteel castings and others. Some foundries now they have stopped because of the regulations permitting them giving the energy consumption figure separately. That is why in some foundries power and fuel charges are not there, which earlier it used to be there. For last 8 or 10 years many things have stopped. One important thing which has stopped is in terms of tonnage what you have sold is earlier it was visible clearly. Now it is not visible clearly in the annual report. One has to search for it and one may be able to find out or one may not be able to find out. The second thing is the employees benefits expense. How much compared to your the sale you spend on your employees. And if you see, the trouble with Hinduja Foundries was the employees benefit over a period had gone so much high compared to their total sale. And the second thing is interest. They had borrowed a lot of money. When interest cuts away, employees also, productivity does not rise. Employees compensation, when it goes high, we should all be happy. Side by side, it should reflect in increase in productivity. If that does not happen, something is wrong with the company. And many other tax expenses, etc., etc. Next page, please. And these are the remaining 5 foundries. With this, I stop my presentation. Thank you. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you, Mr. Shah. That was a unique subject that we have taken up this time. Now, may I request Mr. Shyam Arjun Wadkar, Director, Chairman, National Council, National Center for Technical Services, IIF, to take the stage, please.
Mr. M.R. Shah has done. But before I start my comments, I would like to congratulate the organizers of this seminar, and that is the reason why I have brought this welcome thing to for Mrs. Bina. The idea is that why I am doing is this. So far, I have been moving around. So many forums for the foundry, nationally, internationally, and I have never seen that this particular subject has been taken over at any forum. So I congratulate you, madam, on this, because we found. Majority of us we must have read that book, The Goal, which is like a Bible to all engineering industries, and we see that why we are in the business at all. And 99% of the foundrymen, they say that we are in the business to produce a good, sound, neat, clean casting. But is it ultimate goal? Well, that's where we forget. And that's the thing what I found out which is hidden. There is a message hidden in this particular session. So I congratulate the organizers on this. So, and secondly, I would like to share you that I was very confident that you tell me the topic on any topic on the foundry technology. And to this learned audience, well, I can speak up. But it's a bouncer from the organizers that I never dreamed that this kind of topic they will ask me to speak something on. And then really, I need to scratch my head. What's something I can share with this kind of learned audience? And then while telling my own experiences as a MD of one company and moving around, I found out, okay, there is something which is missing, or at least in formal and informal interactions, I never came across about the subject, about the commodity market with the foundryman. Because we make the money, we make the profits. Just now Mr. Shah has also said what is the profitability and how the listed companies, they look at the profitability first. But we must know that, okay, basic raw material charges and the material charges, labor charges, they are the direct inputs to the cost. There is no any other calculation to that. Your direct material cost is the direct input, your labor cost is the direct input. There are no any other hidden things there. They're as naked as anything. So then raw material cost, normally in a grand foundry, that varies anything from 33% to 40%. So depending on the kind of products what you have, depending on the alloys and alloying elements what you have, so that varies. And then I thought that there is exactly something we need to scratch our heads and look for some more opportunity. And that is the reason why this subject came to my mind. This is the advantage of commodity market. Yeah, next slide, please. I'll just choose this. You know, what I have done, I mean, like a layman, because when I was director of the company at that time, commodity market was not there. I think in the NDA 1, the commodity market has started in India. So what I request you all to Google search Indian commodity market, and you will get so many names, that how it operates and how you work out with that. And one of the sites is mcxindia.com. It's